And please join me in recognizing the Meadows School Symphonic Band, directed by Ms. Jenny Cole. Also, a quick round of applause, and a heartfelt round of applause for Brett Peterson of Director Facilities and Susan Harrison for the massive undertaking every year. Those two folks are the reason that this event is so special. So a round of applause for the congratulations of our founder and trustee emeritus, the Honorable Mayor Goodman. I spoke with her just a couple of weeks ago, and she sends her regrets, but wanted to give her very best wishes to the class of 2019. In addition to that, I would also like to recognize a few people who are here in the audience before we get going. The nature of the Meadows School project, since its inception 35 odd years ago, has been one in which families started the institution, and families are the ones that benefit by the educational experience that we provide. And so at this time, I would like to recognize the alumni siblings in the audience. So if you would, I will mention the name of the graduate and their sibling, and please stand and be recognized. First off, Anna Agrawal and her brother Alex from the class of 2016. Anna, stand. There you go. Thank you. Sarah Akhtar and her sister Sophia from the class of 2015. Peyton Allen and her sisters Sydney Morgan and Lindsay Morgan from the classes of 2014. Also Justin Bedoyan and his sister Taylor from the class of 2015. Rami Balarajan and her sister Abby from the class of 2014. Anna Dorn and her brother Michael from the class of 2016. Samantha Dunn and her sister Melanie from the class of 2017. Joseph Epstein and his brother Jake from the class of 2017. Matthew Ferris and his brother Justin from the class of 2016. Alima Farmanali and her sister Alia from the class of 2015. Alan Friedman and his brothers Ethan from 16 and Brian from 14. Mira Gollard and her sister Gina from the class of 2014. Emily Herndon and her sister Caitlin from the class of 2016. Peter Hoskins and his brother Ben Hoskins from the class of 2016. Reno Iannicelli and his brother Renzo from the class of 2017. Samuel Kaplan and his sister Sarah from the class of 2016. Noah Klein and his sister Abby from the class of 2017. Danny Mason and her brother Sam Mason from the class of 2017. Ahmed Naman and his brother Rafay from the class of 2014. Alexandra Peterson and her sister Amber from the class of 2014. Tegan Pluty and her sister Kyla from the class of 2017. Haritha Ramalingam and her sister Priya from the class of 2012. Tanner Rubeli and his sister Mandy from the class of 2017. Rabina Sarfo and his sister Okosia from the class of 2016. Finally, Richard Zoe and his sister Sunny from the class of 2013. Thank you. And now to open our ceremony with invocation, it is my pleasure to introduce the Reverend Joanne Leach. Joanne has served as an Associate Episcopal Priest priests at Grace in the Desert Episcopal Church in Summerlin for the past 6 years. He currently serves as president of Nevadans for the Common Good, which is an organization of 68 churches, synagogues, mosques, and social service agencies that listen to the needs of people of Southern Nevada and work to influence our legislature and our communities to change for the good. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Leach.
In gratitude we pray. God of joy and hope, we thank you for this time of graduation. Your spirit of wisdom has empowered our hard work and discipline in such a way that our hunger for learning has been nourished with knowledge, discovery, creativity, and determination. As we prepare to walk across the stage to receive our diplomas, let us walk in prayerful gratitude for the many blessings that have made this moment real and filled with great potential. In gratitude, we remember our families and the many who have sacrificed and worked to see us to this hopeful moment. In gratitude, we rejoice for the teachers and administrators who have challenged, cared, and crafted us among this academic journey. In gratitude, we remember our friends who have taught us about friendship, collaboration, and sharing. Holy One, even as we have faced challenges and accomplished much, we understand that our lives move into a new chapter where there will be more challenges to face and more will be demanded of us in order to accomplish good things. May your grace cover our anxieties and fears so that we may stay encouraged about the future. Give us patience and hope to energize our search for our life's vocation that is just and makes proper use of our gifts. Give us courage to face the challenges of carving out a place in society where we might live in peace, service, and gratitude. And give us strength to resist the temptations of greed, laziness, pride, and envy as we strive to do and be our best. May your Spirit guide us as we unfold the next chapters of our lives. Help us to enliven hope in the world and work for the common good. And may this celebration be a reflection of the blessings that we find in knowing and loving each other. For this is the day that you have made. We are glad and rejoicing. Amen.
Faculty, staff, parents, trustees, honored guests, members of the class of 2019, welcome. Thank you for being here. We have a full program planned for this afternoon, so we'll try to keep our comments brief. Imagine, if you will, two people competing in a 100-meter dash. One runs a world record time of 9.3 seconds, and the other crosses the finish line in 30 seconds. Who would you say was the success? I think obviously most of us would say that the world record breaker would be the successful one. But if I told you that the one who clocked 30 seconds had developed polio as a child and was unable to walk until he was 14 years old, and had invested years of painful, grueling exercise until he was finally able to traverse that distance, then who would be the more successful one? My point here is that we can never know the circumstances that another person has to deal with. We cannot see whether he's naturally calm or whether he's had to struggle to control his temper, whether she was born with great intelligence or whether she's had to overcome learning disabilities, whether he's been handed the best of everything or whether he's had to surmount many, many obstacles. This is a crucial concept for we as educators. We must constantly consider which is more important, achievement or effort. And the answer so often is effort. And while great effort doesn't always result in perfect scores, what the truly educated person understands is that the reason we utilize grades and test scores as a stand-in for achievement is to have an objective measure, an objective gauge for how much material a child is grasping and whether or not we are successful in aiding him or her in their educational experience. But in ultimate terms, when the graduates of the class of 2019 are mothers and fathers, doctors and CEOs, friends, leaders, and mentors, all that really matters is effort and living up to the potential with which we have been blessed. This notion reminds me of a brief story that I'd like to share with you. The story is told of Zusha, the great Hasidic master who lay crying on his deathbed. His students asked him, "Rebbe, why are you so sad? After all the mitzvahs and good deeds you have done, you will surely get a great reward in heaven." "I am afraid," says Zusha. Because when I get to heaven, he goes on, I know God is not going to ask me, why weren't you more like Moses? But you were very much like Moses, said his students. You were a great leader of your people. And Zusha waves his hand and continues crying. I know, he says, that the Creator is not going to ask me, why weren't you more like King David? But you are very wise, learned, and judicious, say his students. Very much like David. And again, Zusha waves them off with a dismissive wave of his hand and continues to cry. So then, Master, what are you afraid of? His students ask. And Zusha replies, I am afraid that God will ask me, why were you not more like Zusha? And then, what will I say? Life, therefore, cannot be a competition against some greater personage. It cannot be against anyone but yourself. And success or self-realization comes in reaching our personal potential. The only thing to regret in life is not failing to live up to others' expectations, but rather failing to become the best possible version of yourself. This is not a platitude. This is not to say, be yourself. That's not what I'm after. What I'm after, ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2019, is that each of us is granted a certain degree of potential, and each of us is given the opportunity to reach that potential. And in being the measure of your own efforts, your own potential, great things are possible. And while it's difficult to objectively measure effort or the pursuit of fulfilling one's potential, it does in fact often lead to a measurable kind of achievement. And we've seen this, and we see it everywhere with the class of 2019. Everywhere you look, there is evidence of these students having learned these lessons well. Just by way of a snapshot, the 51 students of the class of 2019, of course, have achieved 100% four-year college and university acceptance. They have earned $402,600, that's $6.4 million in renewable academic scholarship offers. They represent 8 National Merit Scholarship finalists, 4 National Merit Commended, 1 National Hispanic Scholar. Their average SAT scores are 691 for verbal and 717 for math. Their average ACT score is 31. Their advanced placement recognition for when they were juniors. We had 1 National AP Scholar, 12 AP Scholars with distinction, 6 AP Scholars with honors, and 11 AP Scholars. Ladies and gentlemen, the next generation of leaders who have lived and learned by measuring themselves against their own abilities. Students who have devoted their academic lives to the effort of learning new things and who have achieved and will continue to achieve great things as a result, the class of 2019. Now, before we continue, it should be noted that some of these graduates have been on the campus on Scholar Lane for quite some time. These students embody the fact that the Meadows School was founded as a place for students to come to learn for 13 years and more. So graduates, lifers and super lifers, please stand and remain standing as I call your name. First off, lifers, students who started with us in kindergarten. Ahmed Naman, Malini Malula, Harry Pascal. And then on to the super lifers, those who started with us in our beginning school program, spending 14 years and more at the Meadows School. First off, Zachary Aaron, Sarah Akhtar, Peyton Allen, Bruce Becker, Joseph Epstein, Justin Princep, Emily Herndon, Noah Klein, Alexander Peterson, Tegan Flutie, Sydney Ramanovsky, Christopher Suchiyama, Jay Yeager, and Rachel Zimmerman. Ladies and gentlemen, the lifers and super lifers for 2019. Really quickly, often high school graduations are so much about high school achievements, and as they well should be. But with this many lifers and super lifers, I would like to just take a moment to recognize the faculty members that have had a massive impact on the lives of these students on stage. If you teach in the beginning school and lower school and you have had an opportunity to teach one of these young men and women, please stand and remain standing. If you are a middle school faculty member and you've had the opportunity to teach somebody here on stage, please stand. If you are an upper school faculty member and you have taught one of the members of the class of 2019, please stand and be recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing the faculty members. Thank you. And now on to the program. It's my pleasure to introduce the valedictorian for the class of 2019. In addition to amassing an almost unbelievable unweighted GPA of 3.98, I don't know who gave him the A-, along with an astounding weighted GPA of 5.14, Richard has managed to remain active outside of the classroom. As a Boy Scout, Richard attained the impressive rank of Eagle Scout. He played in the varsity tennis and bowling teams for 4 years. He was president of a sector of the upper school STEM club, and he dedicated over 100 hours volunteering at the Mountain View Hospital. But this is to say nothing of the kind of person he is, and how his ample intelligence and drive are informed by his personality. I had the benefit of taking Richard out to lunch this spring, as I try to do with valedictorians each year, and I found Richard to be, in a word, understated. That's right, this young man who took an almost but not quite impossible course load at the most rigorous school in the region had a quiet confidence it was a pleasure to witness. But I would like to allow his teachers who know him best to describe him for you. His chemistry teacher related a time in the fall when Richard wanted to build a Halloween chemistry lesson for his classmates, and he did it all. In the end, she tells me, our quiet, cerebral, and analytical Richard pulled off a dramatic, scary, and yes, educational Halloween chemistry lesson. Students learned about atomic and molecular reactivity amid sparks, brilliant colors, noise, and clouds of fog and color. And of course, all explained with Richard's understated humor and brilliant intellectual flair. There's that word again, understated. His English teacher said, Richard's quiet confidence is his greatest strength in my class. No matter the setback or challenge, he never complains or throws blame. He just diligently finds out what needs to be done, and then he masterfully does it. His bowling coach related a story at the time that Richard finally bowled a 200 game, and said that, quote, Richard is one of the most understated people I have ever met. He possesses a placid exterior that hides the heart of a bulldog in search of his favorite toy with his every endeavor. He often displays a stone-faced shield against distractions, but also exudes a quiet charisma that stems from the kind and loyal classmate and friend that he truly is. Another teacher simply said, he's a cool hand, Luke, and a great guy. And finally, his advisor, who, like me, tried to reason with Richard regarding his high-level course requests, put it best, quote, normal people are not fine when taking 6 APs a year for 2 years in a row, but Richard should never be confused with an ordinary person, close quote. Ladies and gentlemen, the valedictorian of the class of 2019, Richard Zoe.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. You flattered me too much. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are here to celebrate the graduation of the Meadows class of 2019, and I have the honor to speak in front of you as valedictorian. To be honest, I did not initially expect to become valedictorian. I never really thought about it until people began to mention it to me. I instead was simply focused on whatever task was immediately in front of me. I remember having the same conversation with Mr. Gregerson for the past 2 years over my course load. Mr. Gregerson was, of course, concerned, and I imagine that he was just wondering, what is this crazy kid thinking? Meanwhile, I would just shrug, saying, I'll probably be fine. Maybe if he told me I would have to do a speech, I would have thought twice. If you ask Mr. Meddy, one of my math teachers, who is almost like having a second dad at school, about me, He would probably tell you, yeah, that kid just plays video games all day. I can assure you that is not the case. At the same time, however, others noted that I seemed quite relaxed despite my course load. When you say 6 AP classes, it sounds quite daunting, and it wasn't easy, of course. Yet, by focusing on one test, one paper, one assignment at a time, I broke it down into manageable pieces. By doing so, I somehow survived, and can now look back and be proud of my accomplishments over the past few years. I think that goes for all the graduates here today. Imagine telling some poor 14-year-old that they have to go through geometry, calculus, physics, chemistry, biology, US history, government, probably like 5,000 different books for English, and then all of the extracurriculars on top of that. Yet here we are. On top of our academic achievements, this class is filled with incredible athletes, musicians, artists, actors, and more. It would have been difficult to believe 4 years ago that we would be able to do all that we have. During school, that one test or that one paper we had due the next day seems to be the most important and only thing. Then, once we're done with that, we move on to the next class or assignment without really thinking about what it means as a whole. I think this goes for any truly great achievement. We didn't land on the moon in a day after all. The Apollo project started 8 years before the moon landing, but even before that, the technology for a rocket ship had to be developed, and before that, Newton had to come up with the laws of gravity almost 300 years prior. And so, by continuously building and adding to what we have, we are able to reach unimaginable heights. Now, we are here at the end of our high school journey. Each day might have been a small, insignificant event, yet when added up together, we can now see everything that we have accomplished built up from the effort that we put in every day. Yet this is hardly the end. I'm sure my fellow graduates have big plans for the future. Remember that there won't be a single big moment when suddenly your dreams are realized. As the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. While the mountain ahead of us seems daunting, we must conquer it one step at a time. Along our path, there will be many hurdles. However, I know we will all be able to overcome them, as we did at school, as we tackled every assignment and test, or in sports at every practice. Sometimes, you might barely be dragging your feet, but as long as you are moving forward, that's okay. And by doing so, I hope that 5, 10, or 15 years from now, we will be able to look back and be proud of what we have accomplished. Of course, this wouldn't be possible without the support of our wonderful faculty and parents. So to the faculty and parents, thank you. And finally, to my fellow classmates, congratulations on your graduation. And by tackling your obstacles one by one, I'm sure you will do great things.
Thank you, Richard. It's my honor at this moment to recognize our guest speaker. In 1984, Jim Cashman was enrolled in the inaugural 5th grade class at the Meadows School, which he attended for 4 years. In 1996, after graduating with a BA from Occidental College, Jim moved to Hollywood and began pursuing an acting career. He began taking classes in improvisation and sketch comedy at the famed Groundlings Theater, and in 2002, Jim was invited to become a member of the Groundlings main company. During his 14-year tenure as a company member, he would perform, write, and teach comedy alongside fellow Groundlings Will Forte, Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph, Jillian Bell, and Melissa McCarthy. As an actor, Jim has appeared on television shows Grey's Anatomy and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, in the film The Boss, and on stage in the first touring company of the Broadway musical, the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. As a writer, Jim has guest written on the Looney Tunes show for the Cartoon Network, been a staff writer on the sitcom Benched for USA, and was nominated for a Writers Guild Award for his writing for NBC's Saturday Night Live. In 2016, Jim co-wrote a television pilot with his writing partner, Mitch Silklow, which they sold to Warner Brothers Studios and made into a pilot for the Fox Network in 2017. Last year, Jim and Mitch sold a second TV pilot to Warner Brothers that is currently in development. In his free time, Jim goes by the name Jamie and picks up extra shifts at the Progressive Superstore alongside his friend Flo, where they help customers find home, auto, motorcycle, and pet insurance to meet their needs. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the podium Mr. Jim Cashman.
Thank you, Mr. Gregerson. It is an honor to be here today. Thank you to the Board of Trustees, the faculty, the staff here at the Meadows. First things first, congratulations to the class of 2019. In a few minutes, you will be Meadows School alumni. As Mr. Gregerson said, I am also a Meadows School alumni, but not at the high school. I am a middle school alum. I chose not to continue to the Meadows School for high school for several reasons, but if I'm honest, the main one is, this school is hard. Way harder than most other schools. College might be a breeze for you guys, so congrats. In September, it will be 35 years since the Meadows first opened its doors, and yes, I was there on that day. When I walked into the 5th grade classroom, I had no idea what was waiting for me because my parents had tricked me. I thought we were going to the Meadows Mall. It was like a block away. You could see it from the trailers. It was such a tease. And in 1984, the Meadows Mall was the place to be. I mean, they had a Sbarro, I think, or Villa Pizza. There was a Spencer's Gifts, hot dog on a stick. Actually, I think all those stores might still be at the Meadows Mall, if you want to go check them out. Part of Carolyn Goodman's genius was to build the school, name it after the mall, and then put it right there. They got a lot of walk-in business. Also walking in the 5th grade on that morning were 2 boys who quickly became my best friends. The 3 of us became thick as thieves, and over the next 4 years we developed our preteen rebellious streaks, and we're constantly testing the limits of the teachers and the administration. We were fighting the power. And that is why my blood ran cold when I learned that my former cohorts have somehow managed to infiltrate the Meadows School Board of Trustees. Everybody be warned. Matt Becker and Matthew Chilton are not who they appear to be. They have pulled off a spectacular long con. And there's a sleeper cell inside the board. In a plot that was probably hatched in like a detention 33 years ago, they've gotten in there and they're going to enact their revenge one day. I don't know what it will be. Possibly it's having me here today as a speaker, trying to tarnish the reputation of this fine school by reminding everybody that the goof from the commercials is an alum. Shame on you both. You take nothing away from these kids. But it is true. I am a proud Meadows School alum, and I can't overstate how much this school helped set me on my path through life and shape who I am today. From the very beginning, before the paint had even dried, I was being academically challenged for the first time in my life. This school exposed me to literature, foreign language, art, science, computers, music with Mr. Krisky. Yes, Mr. Krisky. Things that I wouldn't have had access to in my previous school. Meadows asked more of me, and I found I had a lot more to give. Within 3 months of being at Meadows, I was tasked with writing a short play for the class to perform at the holiday program. My first writing gig. Naturally, I gave myself the biggest part. My first lead. By 7th grade, drama had been added to the curriculum, and we were mounting full productions. I had found my lane, and I was off and running. Thank you, Meadows. Now, the traditional role of the commencement speaker is to impart some sage advice and wisdom to the graduates, so I would like to start by sharing something that the speaker at my high school graduation said, and it really stuck with me. Nope. Don't remember a single word. I don't remember who the speaker was. Male, female, could have been either. I have no idea. I honestly cannot tell you. You get old, you forget. Ask your parents, they'll tell you. So, if you don't like what I say today, the good news is you will forget it, and that really takes the pressure off me. Also, I don't want to be so presumptuous as to think that anyone's going to put much stock in the kernels of wisdom bestowed upon them by JB from Progressive, so... As I said, I figured out what I want to do with my life back at Meadows, and I was blessed to have parents that encouraged me and to pursue such an unpredictable career. For you graduates, the first chapter of your story has been written with the help of your teachers and your parents, but the next chapter is entirely up to you. Some of you may already know what you want to do with your life. Some may have no idea. Some may know now, and later will have no idea. All of those are great. So many possibilities. You will figure it out. That's what college is for. And after college. Maybe your 30s? Do I hear 40s? Anyone got 40s and the lady in the back? 50s? 50s, right next there, sold to that lady right there. Whatever you choose to do with your life, enter into that choice with the expectation that you will actually enjoy your occupation, that it will bring you satisfaction beyond just a paycheck. Maybe because you're helping people, or providing a valuable service to the world, or being challenged creatively. Whatever it is, make sure that it's something worthy of your time and your life. I am incredibly lucky because at the moment I'm making a living doing something I really love to do. But I was also lucky 20 years ago when I was acting, but supporting myself working day jobs. And it's very possible that in 10 years from now, I'll be back at those day jobs, but I can still consider myself lucky. Life is short, unless you are stuck doing something you hate, and then it is long. Today you're crossing the finish line of your first marathon. Your next marathon will be college, maybe grad school. After that, the finish line disappears. It's so far in the distance you're not even sure it's there, and all your friends start sprinting in different directions towards where they think their finish line is. It requires an act of faith just to keep heading towards your goal. But keep moving forward. Slowly, steadily, inch by inch. You may feel like you're going nowhere, but then you'll turn around and you'll see where you started and realize how far along you really are. I encourage you to not be too focused on the minute-to-minute status updates to judge how well you or anyone else is faring in life. For me, it hasn't always been possible to know in the moment if the victory I just experienced was actually about to set me back, or if my big loss just set me up for a huge win. All my career milestones required both delight and despair, and made me a firm believer in these three truths. Hard work pays off, there will be disappointments, and things don't happen the way you think they will. Now, those ideas may sound obvious to you, but remember, you went to Meadows High School, you're very smart, and I wear an apron to sell insurance, so... After college, I moved to Hollywood to pursue an acting career. I had trained as an actor, but I knew nothing about building a career. My headshots were bad, my resume was thin, I couldn't get an agent. I was so green and bad at selling myself that I quickly decided to try a different tack. I'll just get discovered. Duh. So I started doing plays at dingy little theaters, expecting the big producer with a TV show to see me do my 5 lines and just put me on a TV show. Well, apparently big producers aren't scouring the streets of Hollywood looking for mediocre theater. An actor recommended that I try classes at the Groundlings, an improv and sketch comedy theater where so many of my comedy idols got their start. Pee Wee Herman, Phil Hartman, Will Ferrell, Lisa Kudrow, the pictures hung across the walls of the lobby. I signed up for the level 1 class. I loved it and I learned how to improvise. Over several years, I moved up through the program, all the while doing my day jobs and doing little plays for no money. The Groundlings taught me how to write a comedy sketch and how to develop my comedic point of view. When I finally had completed all the levels of the school, I was lucky enough to be invited to join the Sunday Company. Now, the Sunday Company is the B team, essentially the boot camp, the where if you survive, you have a chance of becoming a full-fledged groundling. Now, that wasn't what I had set out to do. I just wanted to act. But now it occurred to me that this could be my route for the career that had been eluding me. I was only one step away. So I went for it. For 18 months, it was my whole life. I put in my 10,000 hours, wrote and performed hundreds of sketches, countless improvs, performing a new show every Sunday, trying to stand out on 40 of the funniest people we've ever known. All of us desperate to earn a coveted spot on that main company. Well, the hard work paid off. 6 years after walking into that theater for my first class, my picture hung on the wall next to my heroes. I was a groundling. I had home base and a showcase for as long as I wanted. Now Hollywood would take notice. Those producers with the TV shows that didn't discover me in those plays, surely they'll come back to the groundlings, see how funny I am, and make me a supporting player on a long-running, workplace sitcom. Well, they did come, and I could tell they came because every so often a fellow castmate would disappear from our show because they had booked a sitcom, or were hired to write a show, or movie, or were cast on SNL, or won an Oscar, something little like that. And the rest of us just kept doing the shows, writing sketches, teaching classes, putting on our bad wigs, and hoping we were next. I was in the groundlings for 14 years, never getting discovered like I hoped. There will be disappointments. But with the benefit of hindsight, I see that the time I spent there performing, writing, teaching, collaborating with other talented people, that was the thing. It wasn't being discovered, it was discovering what I could do. And every positive step forward in my career is a direct result of the work I did at the groundlings. Things don't happen the way you think they will. One of those steps forward was in 2007 when I was offered the chance to write for Saturday Night Live. A friend who is now on SNL had gotten a sketch on that we had written together at the groundlings, and it went really well on the show. So a few months later, the producers called and asked if I would like to fly out to New York and be a guest writer for 2 weeks. Essentially, it was an audition. They throw you into the mix with the other writers and the cast, and if you compete and get something on the show, you could be hired as a full-time writer. Now, I didn't really think of myself as a writer. I wrote as a means to perform, starting here at the Meadows, and all the way up to the groundlings, but I knew that if I worked on SNL, that would be a huge launching pad, and one day I could create a show for myself. So, I went for it. And it was the most surreal 2 weeks of my life. Working at 30 Rock, meeting everyone, staying up late till 4 in the morning, writing, in the little offices that John Belushi and Gilda Radner and Bill Murray worked in. I worked so hard, praying that I could get just one joke on the show. Well, I got 2 sketches on the show. They wrote the promos. I wrote part of the host monologue. It couldn't have gone better. And after 2 weeks, I flew back to LA, feeling like I had slain a dragon. I crushed that audition. Next season, I was going to be writing for Saturday Night Live. Hard work pays off. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wait, no, I'm sorry. There will be disappointments. Now, I didn't get the job. My phone never rang. And season 33 of SNL started without me. And I spent the next few months of my life in a fetal position. I couldn't even watch SNL for years. The rejection hurt so much. I'd imagined my life in the future, and it was just gone, and I was right back where I started. But that wasn't actually true. Those 2 weeks made me start to think of myself as a writer, and not just that, I had a little line on my resume that said, Saturday Night Live, writer. Which was true-ish. So, 2 years later, that line in my resume got me a job writing on an animated show. And that led to me writing, I'm a staff writer on a sitcom. And then I learned script structure and TV writing. And a year later, my friend Mitch and I wrote our own show, which we sold and filmed a pilot. Hard work pays off. The show didn't get picked up. There will be disappointments. But then we just sold another show, and they say they want us to star in it. So things don't happen the way you think they will. The years following SNL were pretty lean. I longed for steady gigs so that my wife and I could even think about starting a family. Another groundling friend of mine, an extremely funny, kind woman named Stephanie, had also been struggling. One day she booked a commercial, which is kind of like a life raft for a broke actor, a little job to help you make the rent for a few months or help you pay all the parking tickets that you would earn while you were going to commercial auditions. In the spot, Stephanie played a cashier with improv funny line at the end. It was one commercial, and then they asked her to come back and make some more, and then some more. And Flo from Progressive was born. The campaign took off, and Stephanie's life changed. A few years into the campaign, I got an audition for a Progressive. Now, by that point, I'd been at hundreds of commercial auditions, and I, booked a handful, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And when I read what the audition script was, I realized this wasn't just a regular spot. It was an introduction of a sidekick, the new guy, someone to stand next to Flo and banter with her and come up time and time again. A recurring gig, stability. I wanted this so much. I memorized the script, I worked on it like it was Shakespeare, I practiced different takes. Because I knew Stephanie, I thought, oh, that'd be great, we have chemistry. This is my one, this is my moment. Now, you were smart kids. You can probably guess which way this one is going. Is it, hard work or disappointment? Wrong! Disappointment! I did not get the part. I didn't even get a callback. Some other kid got the part, and I just went back to work and gone to the groundlings. But things don't always happen the way you think they will. And 7 months later, another Progressive audition. Not for a sidekick, just an employee. I book it. On set, Stephanie and I have fun and improvise. I'm not nervous because we worked together all these years in groundlings. Hard work pays off. What I didn't know was the search for a sidekick hadn't panned out, but they were still looking for ways to expand Flo's world, so 3 months later, they called and asked me to do another one. I said, yeah, sure. 3 months later, they called and asked again, maybe a couple more. By now, my wife is pregnant with our first daughter, so I say, yes, please, yes, absolutely, please, thank you, I'll do it. Almost 9 years later, and it's starting to feel like I am a supporting player on a long-running workplace sitcom. Sure, each episode is only 30 seconds long, but they teach a valuable lesson. Progressive offers great insurance. So to the class of 2019, I wish you the best of luck on whatever path you choose. Keep moving forward. And you have the love and support of your family and friends and the entire Meadows community who are so proud of you today. Meadows has given you such an incredible head start in life and the tools to overcome any obstacle, which is great because the older generations don't know what we're doing and we're counting on you to save the world, okay? Sorry, I know it's a tall order, but I think you guys are up for it. You seem really smart. And as you go out to the world to save it, meet people, share with them your story, tell them about Meadows, your teachers, your friends, and all that you've learned here. And one of them ever says to you, that sounds like an impressive school. Who gave your commencement address? You hold your head up high. You look them in the eye and say, I don't remember. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Cashman. Just a quick note, it's my pleasure to announce that as a token of our appreciation for coming back to the Meadows to speak to our students, the Board of Trustees has donated a seat in our theater inside the Popoli Center for the Arts in your honor. And now to introduce our next speakers, Mr. Albert Ronquillo, Upper School Dean of Students.
Thank you, Mr. Gregerson. The student body president at the Meadows School carries an important responsibility to the student body. Sydney Ramanowski has worked tirelessly this school year to fulfill that responsibility while making it an enjoyable one for all. When I first met Sydney last summer, she came into my office and introduced herself with great confidence. Sydney presented me with many ideas that she felt would make the school year a better one and wanted to have more activities that would include all divisions. One idea was to bring back the homecoming parade at halftime of the football game. As you know, that was a huge success and it included all the divisions. Sydney has worked collaboratively with all members of Student Council while representing each student at the Meadows with professionalism and with great empathy. Her driving force and desire for success are reason that this year's Student Council put on a number of successful activities. She not only represented the students in terms of all school activities, but she also took the time to represent individual classmates when she felt they needed a liaison to the administration. Regardless of the issue, she will always stand up for what she feels is right. Sydney's strong and confident personality, along with her tremendous work ethic, will open many doors in her future. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present to you the 2018-2019 Student Body President, Ms. Sydney Ramenofsky.
I want to let you all know before I start that when you hear my voice crack, I can assure you it's not because I'm nervous, but it's because Disney's grad night got the best of me. Trust me, I want to get to the diploma part just as fast as you guys do, Grandpa. Not too long ago, Miss Larson sat me down and we discussed my graduation speech. She told me that my job as student body president was to cover the entire Meadows School experience. With everyone focusing on college admission and scholarships, in that moment, all I could think about was approximately $306,650. And then I realized that she said Meadows experience and not Meadows expense. While honing in all my math skills to calculate this number for you, I realized I was taking a chance by including it in my speech because I didn't know if you'd laugh or cry. The one thing I know for sure is that my middle school math teacher, Miss Codewise, is beaming with pride that I voluntarily did math. Because why, Miss Codewise? But let's face it, when high school students talk about the tuition, it's merely an excuse for turning in our papers late or not understanding the ever-changing attendance policy. When in reality, our families, with their incredible insight, are the ones that contribute to our education. Can we get a round of applause for everyone that made it possible for us to receive our diplomas from one of the finest institutions in the country? Okay, so back to experience. What experiences did the class of 2019 share together over the years at the Meadows School? In beginning school, super lifers marched from class to class singing 1 through 10 in Spanish. In lower school, we learned the value of giving back to our community through organized chaos, the second grade Valentine's Day bake sale. This value has followed us all the way through high school. Everyone has spent at least 144 hours improving their community. We do it because we understand how important it is to give back, and partially because it's a graduation requirement. My favorite oxymoron, mandatory volunteerism. But really, the majority of us have well surpassed those 144 hours. In our class, we have Girl Scouts, Eagle Scouts, National Charity League members, Young Men's Service League volunteers that have all been honored with presidential awards. And just to put how impressive this class is in perspective for you, only 8 girls in the entire Southern Nevada region received their Girl Scout awards in 2019. On this stage today, there are 7 Girl Scout Gold Award recipients. Meadows helped us realize early on that it is our job to make this world a better place. In 2012, 29 out of the 51 of us entered middle school together, where we learned it was easier to carry our 20 pounds of books rather than dealing with our longer combinations. Then we all got to high school. And for those of you that were new, I now understand why you were so confused when we so proudly told you that we were lifers. It's because Webster's definition of a lifer is someone who, and I quote, is serving a life sentence in prison. But rather than containing us, being lifers at this institution has enabled us to grow. And in the process, we've become independent and capable adults. Unlike in prison, being a lifer is an honor and a privilege at the Meadows School. A lot has changed since that first day of school. In beginning school, the biggest problem was making it to the potty, and now in upper school, the biggest problem is making it home from the party. In lower school, Mr. Bissell taught us the proper way to close our milk cartons, while in middle school, Mr. Siegel taught us how to keep our shirts clean. Mr. Cherry regaled us with stories of Roman history, while in high school, Mr. Kempfer made sure we knew the definition of sarcasm. Mr. Hanley taught us to never stop fighting for what we want in life, while Miss Jarvis taught us how to fight for our lives. What has made our Meadows experience exceptional is the people. Our lives have been molded by the people in this room. Parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, friends, and most importantly, the people on your right and on your left, our mentors. The Meadows School's pursuit of excellence is unique. Each one of us has an education, academic as well as social, that is different than anyone else's in the entire country. Our students are asked what college we will be attending rather than if we are going to college, because these people refuse to let us settle. Our family's investment in the Meadows School has provided us with the opportunity to be and try everything. We received an education from people invested in our success. We met our mentors. We made lifelong friends. We had the opportunity to be actors and actresses, leaders, musicians, athletes. We've even traveled together, starting with the apple orchard in beginning school, strolling through the halls of music row order throughout the lower school, and after Astro Camp in the middle school, and on college visits in the upper school. We have become more than classmates. We are family. And like family, even when separated by distance and traveling our own paths, we will always have each other. So choose your path and follow it, and be unapologetically yourself in the process. But most importantly, never forget the lessons or experiences we've had together at the Meadows School, because those are priceless. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. Class of 2019, I love you.
Thank you, Cindy. The role of a senior class president is specialized to helping seniors create fun experiences and fond memories. Kayla Salahian began fulfilling her responsibilities early in the summer of 2018 by coming to my office to meet with me so that she can discuss important activities such as grad night and make sure that they're all put on the calendar. Kayla's soft-spoken, yet determined approach were instrumental in planning this year's prom. She worked countless hours with other members of the Senior Town Council in making this year's prom arguably one of the best the Meadows has ever seen. Her diligence and attention to detail were echoed by one of her teachers who stated that she is a leader and a role model for how to be an ideal TMS student. Outside of her senior class president responsibilities, Kayla's compassion was evident through her efforts in creating the Meadows Partnership for Homeless Youth, which is a club whose members put in a significant number of hours reaching out to and helping the homeless youth of Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I introduce you to this year's senior class president, Ms. Kayla Salahian.
Good afternoon, faculty, family, and the graduating students of the class of 2019. I feel like we pictured this moment for so long that being here seems almost surreal. I'd like to share with you all my favorite aspect of the class of 2019. The passion these students have demonstrate their positive, inspiring outlooks on life. In David Foster Wallace's commencement address at Kenyon College, he remarked, "The only thing that's capital T true is that you get to decide how you're going to try to see it." He was referring to the freedom that education allows for when choosing a perspective to view the world in. The reason why the class of 2019 continually impresses me is the perspective we've collectively chosen. The social media world we live in today is consumed with cynicism and apathy. We experience many conversations as roasts and constantly see memes that insult and make fun of pretty much anything and everything around us. And believe me, class of 2019 really loves memes, as our group me chat is full of them. Every single day, a new meme is sent in that group me chat, our favorite being Mr. Gregerson's changing culture meme. While we laugh at it, it is so easy to become encompassed by the warped nature of our daily conversations and interactions. Since there is so much cynicism in our experience on the internet and through social media, we run the risk of being consumed by it and allowing it to limit or define our perspective. For instance, instead of excitement, many students around the country feel cynical about important events experienced in high school. The dreaded AP tests, the cliched dances, the cliques of students, and the inevitable teenage angst that comes with combating authority figures in and outside of the classroom. This was not my experience with the class of 2019. In the midst of all this cynicism and apathy, the class of 2019's energy and spirit demonstrates incredible perseverance and willingness to make change, counteracting the negativity and noise that exists around us. The perspective we've chosen combats the cynicism we experience daily. Even throughout the stressful college application season, we were laughing through it all and making the most of it together. The passion these students have for their interests, whether it is a sport, musical instrument, club, community service organization, or their favorite classes at school, is remarkable. The students in the class of 2019 make the school energetic and exciting and inspiring for all. Honestly, it was challenging to be a high school senior applying to colleges everywhere in the nation this year, but especially as a senior at Meadows, where students worked so hard all 4 years to get into some of the best schools in the country. While we definitely had great resources and people to turn to, no one could have fully anticipated or prepared us for how competitive the process was truly going to be. Getting into your dream school based solely on merit instead of connections, wealth, or worse yet, bribery, seemed nearly impossible this year. Seeing headlines of our dream schools involved in scandals only made matters worse. That is why I'm so incredibly impressed with the class of 2019. First and foremost, because of our acceptances. In a year when college admissions rates plummeted nationwide, we still managed to get into some of the best universities in the world. It should be noted that we are deeply grateful for the opportunities we've had, as well as the immense support we've received throughout this stressful process. Ambition allowed each of us to reach the universities we are attending in the fall. In the end, the acceptance letters themselves, while important, are not why I believe this class is so admirable. The deliberate choice these students made in seeing the process positively and persevering is why I believe the class of 2019 is amazing. We've realized that there's not only one singular path for our future, but more choices than we can possibly imagine. I believe I speak for most of us when I say that we ended up somewhere differently than we originally imagined, but it was the best way things could have possibly worked out. By heading down a different road than we pictured 4 years ago, or even starting senior year, we all discovered more about ourselves and what we were looking for in our surroundings. I think a lot of students, even in our grade, originally believed that high school was a destination with the sole purpose of getting into a selective university. Through this process, we've realized that education consists of so much more. We've made a choice to change our perspective and see education as a much more valuable experience. The insights from my teachers and fellow students this year have shown me how much the class of 2019 cares about learning to discover new answers to difficult questions. Moments that stand out include discussing quantum mechanics and the shape of the universe, or discovering why one white whale is so momentous and significant. The passion for learning and for succeeding, despite the cynicism and apathy that we experience, is why I believe the class of 2019 will be so successful in the future. We found humor in the absurd, and I will never forget laughing and singing the Conor McGregor song over and over again, even after he lost the fight. We laughed and fought through every challenge we faced over these past 4 years. The perspective we've chosen will take us far, and I cannot wait to see the wonderful things we accomplish. Keep in mind David Foster Wallace's advice. You get to consciously decide what has meaning and what doesn't. And so far, we decided to make the most out of every moment. Congratulations again to the class of 2019. It was a privilege to serve you as senior class president. Thanks for a great senior year, and I love you, Mom.
So, without further ado, Jeff Kriske and the Meadows School's founding headmistress, Dr. Cobley, shared a passion for music. Both former lower school icons were trailblazers. Both created art, developed curriculum, and invested their life's work in teaching children. Jeff Kriske gifted his love of music to thousands of children in Las Vegas over decades as our lower school music teacher. And yet, Mr. Kriske claimed he never worked a day in his life. Instead, he came to school to play and to teach others the joy he found in music. Mr. Kriske founded Meadows Singers and established one of our school's favorite traditions, the singing of the 12 Days of Christmas at our annual holiday assembly. Mr. Kriske wrote the book on 5 golden rings, literally. He published numerous books of music and Game Plan, a comprehensive music program for schools sold nationwide. Jeff was the first to bring Meadows singers on stage in the Wanda Lambertoli Center for the Arts. He believes that students should be immersed in the Orff Schulwerk approach to music education, where play and creativity are at the core. Mr. Kriske set the standards by which lower school continues to abide. Only live music accompanies our students while singing. Like Dr. Cogley, Jeff believes that music complements and energizes brain development in children, including those areas responsible for language development, speech, and reading skills. In lower school, Jeff Kriske made music the language of learning for everyone. He knew long before studies proved it that music is good for our brains and our hearts and our souls. Jeff is still a fixture in our lower school. Not only has he worked hard to pass the baton to our wonderful lower school music teacher, Ms. Sirota, he often substitute teaches and continues to lend his creative touch to artwork in the hallways. Truly, much of the success of our music programs from lower school on up are due to Mr. Kriske and his impact. And that impact will always be felt on Scholar Lane. It is my pleasure to present him with an honorary diploma and the handmade commemorative chair in which he has been seated during the ceremony. The plaque on its back reads, Mr. Jeff Kriske, in honor of your ongoing support of the Meadows School, May 25th, 2019. Honored guests, please join me in appreciation of Jeff Kriske, educator, mentor, and gentleman. He will always be a member of the class of 2019.
We're going to call this the fun part. You ready for the fun part?
It's been fun already.
You missed the nod. It's okay. We'll work on it tomorrow. We won't work on it tomorrow. Class of 2019 Valedictorian, Richard Guanji Zhou. Richard entered the Meadows School in 9th grade. His best memory at the upper school was winning state for tennis during his sophomore year. Richard considers taking a rigorous course load and excelling in all of his classes as his most significant academic accomplishment, and obtaining the rank of Eagle Scout his most significant extracurricular achievement. The person who has made quite an impact on Richard's life is his sister, who has acted as a role model and mentor to him. Throughout his 4 years in the upper school, he received academic awards in photography, AP Computer Science Principles, AP Physics 1, AP Economics, and AP Physics C. He is a member of NHS, the National Spanish Honor Society. He is a National AP Scholar and a National Merit Commended Scholar. He is looking forward to furthering his education and the freedom of living on his own at the University of Maryland, College Park, where he intends to major in computer science and engineering. Paige Remanowski. Student body president Sydney calls herself a super mega lifer because she had 3 years of beginning school instead of 2. This is the end of Sydney's 16th year at the Meadows. Sydney's favorite memory of lower school is when everyone freaked out over Mr. Bissell chasing Elliot Sarno down the hallways because he ran away in the middle of their program rehearsal. Sydney's favorite upper school memory is dancing to Beyonce's Single Ladies with Mrs. Smilo and Ms. Bartley in Pennsylvania. Being a 2-time member of Mr. Kempfer's 120 Club was Sydney's most significant academic accomplishment, and outside of school was receiving her Girl Scout Gold Award. Her project partnered with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Foundation, and she was able to raise close to $20,000. Sydney's mom has had the greatest impact on her life because she is her best friend and has been there for her through everything. Sydney would not be the person she is today without her mom's unconditional love. Sydney is looking forward to new beginnings in Dallas, Texas, where she will be a Mustang for life as a recipient of Southern Methodist University's Hunt Scholarship for Outstanding Leaders. Only 2% of the applicants to this program were accepted, and Sydney will receive $168,000 over 4 years, including the opportunity to study abroad. She plans to major in business administration with a minor in marketing. Kayla Ann Salahian. Kayla has been a student at the Meadows School since the freshman year and was the 2019 senior class president. As an experienced member of our policy debate team, her most significant extracurricular achievement was reaching the elimination rounds of the Alta debate tournament and getting to compete against nationally ranked debaters. She was also proud to be inducted into the Cum Laude Society this year. Kayla's favorite service experience was making over 150 lunches with her club, the Meadows Partnership for Homeless Youth, and bringing them to the center to hand out to children. Kayla collected the supplies and spent the afternoon with friends making sandwiches and writing encouraging notes for each lunch. Kayla's mom, Sheila, inspires her to continue her passions and try her best in all situations. Sheila is a great role model to Kayla because she works hard and thinks of innovative ways to problem solve. Sheila has supported Kayla in everything she's interested in and has helped her reach her goals throughout high school. Kayla's mom inspires her to make the world a better place and to help others in any way possible. Kayla is looking forward to attending classes that use an interdisciplinary approach to public policy and political science. She is also looking forward to meeting new people, getting involved in campus organizations, exploring the city, and taking on new challenges when she heads off to Emory in Atlanta. Matthew, Zachary, Edward, Aaron. Super Lover Zach began in our Meadows Beginning School, and one of his proudest memories was receiving Good Citizen first in Ms. Bennett's 4th grade class. He feels that simply surviving 14 years at the Meadows was his greatest academic accomplishment, and becoming captain of the football team his most meaningful extracurricular achievement. Zach's parents have had the greatest impact on him because they always believe in him and make sure he has the tools that he needs to succeed. Mr. Hanley is credited with giving Zach advice he will never forget, quote, "Balance is the key to a happy and productive life. Always do your work and excel at everything you do, but make sure to have some fun along the way." In the fall, Zach is off to join the Tigers of Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge, where he intends to study business. Anna Grace Aguilar. Anna started in the Meadows Beginning School and remained a student here until 4th grade. She then came back as a freshman to the upper school, where her fondest memory was the closing night of the play She Kills Monsters during her senior year. Anna is proud that she challenged herself with harder classes during her junior and senior years, and that she succeeded in them. She earned the Bronze President's Volunteer Service Award this year by completing almost 170 hours of community service. Anna very much appreciates the support of her mom and dad. She says that they inspire her to be a better person every day and to stay true to herself and what makes her happy. Anna can't wait to be with people who have similar interests as she begins to focus on what makes her happy. She is also, quote, super excited to live in Ann Arbor and go to tailgate parties and football games at the Big House at the University of Michigan. Sarah Zainab Akhtar. A super lifer, Sarah's fondest memories often involve leaving campus, whether it was a field trip to Albertsons in 2nd grade or to Knott's Berry Farm during middle school. During her time in the upper school, her most significant academic accomplishment was earning an A on an essay in Mr. DeVito's class, and her most significant extracurricular achievement was sitting on the bench for all of the soccer season. Her most meaningful service experience was volunteering at Valley Hospital with her friend and fellow graduate Myra Seguir. The best advice was told to her by Dr. Lorenzo, who recommended she wear long underwear to survive the Chicago winters, as she will be attending Loyola University, Chicago. Ryan Arafin Alon. Ryan joined the middle school as a freshman and earned high honors each year. Ryan is most proud of his 1450 on the SAT and that he earned a 4 on the AP Literature exam. His most significant extracurricular accomplishment was being a member of the JV basketball team with the best record during his freshman year. He will always remember the trip to upstate New York for college visits and having the alarm go off at the Dave & Buster's. Ryan's mom has had the greatest impact on his life because he sees her as a role model and she's always had his back no matter what. The advice he will always remember was from his older cousin, who is now in college, who told Ryan to enjoy high school as much as possible while it lasted. Ryan is looking most forward to studying abroad and making new friends at college. He wants to eventually pursue a career in business and entrepreneurship after earning his degree from the University of California, Irvine. Peyton Noel Allen. Meadows beginning school. While in upper school, Peyton will always remember spending 3 classes of her junior and senior years with Mr. Mysick in AP Computer Science, HCAT, and Honors Stats. She will especially remember Valentine's Day both years, eating carnations, and witnessing Mr. Mysick receive many more carnations the following year, and senior photos with the entire stats class. Peyton's most significant extracurricular achievement is being awarded National Young Women of Distinction of Nevada, based off of her Gold Award project, where she took solar-powered lights to the rural parts of Nicaragua. Peyton is most proud of being the yearbook editor this year and being able to follow in her sister's footsteps and record each of the senior class's most fond memories. The best advice Peyton received was from Mrs. Welsing. After spending so much time in her class, she learned how to form an opinion and to stick to it, to not let anyone push her around and try to change her. Peyton is headed off to Utah Valley University in the fall. Justin Gregory Bedoyan. Justin joined the Meadows family in 2nd grade. He will never forget while in middle school what he calls the best class, hands down, Mr. Slominski's computer class. His most significant academic accomplishment was not failing out of AP Euro, and his most significant extracurricular achievement was taking part in one way or another in every single upper school theater show, whether it was on stage or as a technician. Justin says that his parents have done a great job preparing him for the future. They always wanted the best for him, and even if the cost was extreme, they were willing to pull through so he could prosper. Through all of his smallest achievements and greatest failures, his parents made sure that, no matter what, he learned from the experience to better himself and earn a sense of self-respect and responsibility. The best advice Justin received while at the Meadows was from Coach Concannon, who told him that what's behind me is not important. Justin is looking forward to the freedom of choice and the ability to discover and live his life as an individual at Villanova University in Pennsylvania. He also admits that he has no clue what he wants to do when he grows up. Brahmi came to the Meadows in 6th grade and will always hold as a fond memory ziplining at Astor Camp and the upper school dance team breakfasts every Sunday. Brahmi was captain of the dance team and is proud that she got to lead, dance, and choreograph with an amazing group throughout the years. Brahmi is the only student who has taken 4 of Mr. DeVito's classes throughout upper school. The service experience that stands out the most for Brahmi was volunteering at the petting zoo at the Springs Preserve with Key Club. And the best advice she received was at a creative writing seminar camp. Her mentor told her that the only thing you need to be a writer is to have a story. Brahmi is most looking forward to exploring Atlanta and going to the Big Grilled Cheese Festival when she's a student at Emory University with a double major in political science and English, with the goal of one day being a journalist. Bruce Frederick Becker II. Bruce's diploma will be presented to him by his parents, Mr. Matt Becker, TMS Board of Trustees Chair, and TMS Board member, Mrs. April Becker. Bruce began his career at the Meadows in the Caterpillar class, making him a super lifer. His favorite memory in the entirety of his Meadows experience was when he downed an entire pitcher of iced tea before the football game against Sierra Lutheran High School. Bruce was a proud member of the Green Club and cites football as his best TMS experience. And in typical Bruce fashion, when asked what he considers his most significant academic accomplishment, Bruce answered, N.A. The best advice he has received was from his personal trainer, who told him simply to stay on top of things. Bruce admires his trainer and feels indebted to him because he's been an excellent influence, always gives him great advice, and has pushed him to be a much better person than he says he would have been without him. Bruce is looking forward to, quote, having fun at college. He will be attending the University of Iowa in Iowa City, where he plans to major in English and creative writing. Lillian Emily Chu. National Merit Finalist and AP Scholar with distinction among many other accolades, Lillian came to the Meadows in the 9th grade. She will always have very fond memories of her time in theater, particularly shows during her senior year, including the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. The person who had the greatest impact on her was, not surprisingly, Mr. Burris, who offered support both in and out of theater. Induction into the Cum Laude Society was Lillian's most significant academic accomplishment, being awarded the NCWIT Aspiration Certificate of Distinction, her most rewarding extracurricular achievement, and her time spent with the first LEGO League teams, her favorite service experience. From her golf coach, she has learned that although it is beneficial to focus on how you can improve yourself, it is equally important to recognize your growth and progress up until this point. Lillian looks forward to making diverse friends and finding new interests without the restrictions of high school as she joins the Wolverines of the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, where she will major in computer science and artificial intelligence. Ian Kylie Cook. Ian joined the Meadows family in the 3rd grade. Interested in activism from an early age, traveling to Washington, D.C. to meet his congressman after winning a national video project contest about tobacco use is Ian's best lower school memory. In middle school, it was setting a record for the most points in school history in the Lego robotics competition. Ian's most significant academic achievement was reading almost all of Moby Dick. An avid runner, Ian won 3 team and 1 individual regional championship medals for cross country, and he credits Coach Bernick for helping to teach him the value of hard work and dedication. The best advice Ian received was from Raymond Cook, who told him to throw up in practice so you don't throw up during a race. Ian can't wait to be studying international affairs in the nation's capital when he joins the Colonials at the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. Anna Marie Dorn. Anna started at the Meadows in the 1st grade at our lower school, where her fondest memories were of kickball games and tournaments. One memory of upper school Anna will always hold dear was singing "There Is Only One Conor McGregor" on the bus during the junior college trip. Anna is quite proud that she was inducted into the Cum Laude Society this year, made high honors, is an AP scholar, and that she managed to get A's on tests in Mr. Bartling's class. Anna's most significant extracurricular achievement was being on the varsity volleyball team and winning state 2 years in a row. She was also the 2016 and 2018 All-State Defensive Player of the Year. The best advice Anna received was from her best friend Tahoe, who always tells her to do the best thing for her and not listen to what other people say. In college, Anna is most looking forward to meeting new people and being able to sleep in when she attends the University of Utah. Samantha Spire Dunn. Samantha came to the Meadows in 7th grade. Sam considers earning a 4 on her AP Physics exam her greatest academic achievement, and competitive dancing 20-plus hours a week without failing out of Meadows her greatest extracurricular achievement. Her most meaningful service opportunity was over the summer when she went to Peru for 3 weeks to volunteer with kids from all over the country in free clinics and schools with little access to basic medical care. Sam's dad has had the greatest impact on her life because he's always been there no matter what, and without him, she most definitely would not be the same person, or know how to heat up pasta in the microwave. And the best advice Sam has ever been given was from her mom, who told her to, quote, "suck it up," pretty much every time she complained. Sam is most looking forward to getting to study medicine at the same hospital at which she was born. She is headed to Washington University in St. Louis, where she plans to study Spanish and biology. Joseph Kenneth Epstein. Joseph's diploma will be presented to him by his parents and TMS board members Ike Lawrence Epstein and Michelle Epstein. Woo! Joe is a super lifer, having begun his career here at our beginning school. His best memory in lower school was Mrs. Wolfie's extra PE periods, and his best middle school memory was film history class with Mr. Cherry. He considers his most significant academic accomplishment being part of National Honor Society and National Spanish Honor Society. And he considers his most significant extracurricular achievement winning a basketball state championship alongside his brother Jake and being named Nevada State Player of the Year for the 2A division. Joe credits his family with having the greatest impact on his life so far because they want him to see him succeed and to thrive and be the best person he can be. He will be attending Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, where he plans to major in economics with a business minor. Matthew Frank Ferris. Matthew started at the Meadows School in the 6th grade, and his favorite memories all seem to have something to do with bees. Not the grade kind, but the insect kind. In middle school, it was Mr. Cherry telling the class about how he was chased by bees in his wife's dress. And his favorite upper school memory was watching the Bee Movie in a hotel room with Bruce, Richard, and Julius on the Washington, D.C. trip. Matthew's most significant academic accomplishment was getting an A on a government test, and he considers his most significant extracurricular winning state in golf. The person who has had the most impact on Matthew is Mr. Handley, because he has greatly increased Matthew's understanding of American history and the government. Matthew is looking forward to the weather and the academics at Portland State University in Oregon, where he hopes to begin his path to becoming a trauma surgeon. Alima Ruhi Farmanali. Alima also started at the Meadows School in 6th grade. And some of her best memories include cheering for the varsity boys basketball team as they won the state championship in 2016, and the junior college trip she took with her classmates to Pennsylvania and New York. Some of her accomplishments while a student in the upper school include being president of the French Club and French Honor Society, being captain of the varsity cheer team her senior year, and the principal violist for the elite strings. Alima thanks her parents for never failing to love and support her. They have taught her the importance of service, generosity, and humility, constantly pushing her to be her best self in all aspects of her life. She credits her mother, Jennifer, for inspiring her to settle on a profession that makes her happy and helps others, and her father, Shuja, who has taught her to work smart, not hard, if she wants to succeed. Alima will take these lessons to the Bay Area as she joins the Bears at UC Berkeley in the fall to study business administration and one day go into marketing. Justin will be receiving his diploma from his mother, lower school teacher, Mrs. Deborah Ozawa. Justin began at the Meadows School and Beginning School and is another one of the class of 2019 Super Lifers. Justin has fond memories of the PE classes run by Wolfie and Mrs. Merrick in lower school, participating on the math counts team in middle school, and in upper school, the many varsity quiz meetings at lunch in Mr. Hanley's room. He also mentions that Mr. Hanley has been a positive influence on him by encouraging him to stay up to date on modern events and encouraging him to vote at every election. Justin's most significant academic accomplishment was learning how to write a historical research paper, and he says, "Thanks, Dr. Slater." And his most significant extracurricular was taking 3rd place this past fall in the tennis state individuals with his doubles partner, Ethan Lee. The service experience that stood out most to Justin was being able to tutor lower and middle school students to help them understand concepts that they were weak in. And Justin is looking forward to learning more about coding and potentially looking into deep learning algorithms as he majors in computer science and data science at UC Davis. Alan Benjamin Friedman. Joining the middle school in 3rd grade, Alan's best memory from lower school was when Mr. Bissell threw a baseball at Big Smirk's head. In middle school, his favorite memory was building the best bottle rocket in science class. And in upper school, Alan is most fond of putting together a family feud game at the student assembly this year and getting to be the game show host. He was also a member of the National Art Honor Society, the National Spanish Honor Society, and was the student body treasurer this year. Alan's most significant extracurricular achievement was, quote, doing nothing and winning 3 state championships. Alan says that his parents have made the greatest impact on him because they've taught him to always work hard. Alan is looking forward to meeting great people in college and expanding his knowledge in the field of business. He will attend the University of Southern California after a year at the American University of Paris. Mira Angelina Gollard. Mira started at the Meadows School in 9th grade and has been on the high honor roll for all 4 years. A very talented volleyball player, Mira's best memory of her time in the upper school was winning the state championship back-to-back in 2017 and 2018. In 2017, the team was able to come back from a 2-0 deficit to win, and Mira will never forget the competitive and hardworking spirit of her team. Mira earned first All-League and All-State in 2017 and 2018, and All-League Offensive Player of the Year in 2018. Off the court, Mira's most significant accomplishment was when Mr. Kemper read her argumentative essay introduction to class as a good example in AP government. And the person who has had the largest impact on Mira's life so far is her camp counselor, Leanna Wortman. Leanna was able to instill the value of never caring about the opinions of others and taught Mira to value her true self and to enjoy life to the fullest. Mira is most looking forward to the independence that she will gain while at college. She looks forward to learning from her own mistakes and having the opportunity to pave her own path to success at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where she plans to double major in journalism and business administration. Emily Grace Herndon. presented to her by her parents and members of the TMS Board of Trustees, Mr. Douglas and Mrs. Carrie Herndon. As she stands up here with her parents, her mom should know that she is the one, and credits, with having the greatest impact on her throughout her life, because she taught her that no matter how difficult things become, we must always continue to smile and to be kind to others. She appreciates her dad for offering the advice to, quote, embrace her emness and continue to put yourself out there, even if it means sometimes getting hurt, because at least she would fail while daring greatly. Emily will never forget the time in lower school when she climbed up on a new part of the jungle gym that no one had yet reached. She remembers feeling incredibly powerful sitting on top of the world, and it was this bravery that later led to her breaking her arm on that very same jungle gym. Emily believes her most significant extracurricular achievement was when she won the 4x400 meter relay at the state competition with her sister Caitlin during her freshman year. Emily is incredibly excited for college. Most of all, she is cautiously optimistic about how much fun the snow will be up in Maine as she becomes one of the polar bears at Bowdoin College in Brunswick, where she plans to major in neuroscience or psychology with the ultimate goal of becoming a pediatric surgeon. Peter Anthony Hoskins. Peter came to the Meadows as a freshman, and his favorite memory was the first week of sophomore year Spanish when Parker Bucknam drew a portrait of them riding a unicorn together and gave it to Peter, and he still has the drawing to this day. Some of Peter's accomplishments include being the recipient of this year's Black Lion Award for football, a member of the National Honor Society, achieving high honors, and scoring a 34 on a single ACT and 35 super score. Peter is also an Eagle Scout recipient, and for his sport of lacrosse was named Academic All-State Player and All-State LSM Defenseman. Peter's most memorable service experience was when he traveled to Mexico for 2 weeks to help build a school for victims of human trafficking. Peter says that his parents have had the greatest impact on his life by teaching him to be industrious. In addition to receiving his diploma today, Mr. Gregerson is also presenting Peter with his appointment to the Air Force Academy. Peter is looking forward to playing lacrosse at the Academy in Colorado Springs, where he also hopes to join the Wing of Blue, the competitive skydiving team. He wants to one day be a fighter pilot, an aeronautical and mechanical engineer. Reno Michael Iannicelli. Reno came to the Meadows in the 7th grade, and his best memories are of playing basketball, football, and running track. In addition to his involvement in athletics, Reno especially enjoyed his photography classes with Mrs. Callie and volunteering with the Make-A-Wish Club because it taught him how to work with children. His most significant academic accomplishment is actually graduating from the Meadows School. When thinking of those who have inspired him and helped him to get here today, Reno says that he most admires his father because he pushes him to be the best person he can be. He also credits Mr. Vollen for teaching him to, quote, and you know this one, attack every day with enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Reno will be attending the University of San Diego in the fall. Shayna is another member of the class of 2019 who started with us in 9th grade. Her most significant academic accomplishment is staying on high honor roll for all 4 years of high school, and her most significant extracurricular was winning 3 tennis team state championships. Throughout her time in the upper school, working with the lower school students and Mrs. Martin for art maths is the service experience that stands out the most to Shayna. Shayna's parents have had the greatest impact on her for consistently supporting her and pushing her out of her comfort zone to try new things. She will always remember the advice of her father, who said, quote, never dig a hole for someone else to fall into, because you'll end up falling into it yourself. Shayna is looking forward to returning to the East Coast and enjoying all the food and shopping New York has to offer when she attends New York University, where she will most likely major in chemical engineering and hopes to one day pursue a career in dermatology. Alexis Jordan Jones. Alexis joined us in the 3rd grade and fondly remembers MAPS dance classes in the lower school and eating lunch on the patio with her friends in middle school. In the upper school, Alexis has earned high honors and a number of academic awards. She was also cheer captain and MVP, among other accolades, particularly in theater, where she even won the Thespy for Best Onstage Kiss. She feels that her most significant academic accomplishment was earning a 4 on the AP chemistry exam, and her most significant extracurricular achievement was receiving the gypsy robe in theater. Wanting to help those less fortunate, her favorite service projects were playing games at the Blind Center and doing crafts with children at the women's shelter. Alexis greatly admires her mother because of her strength and empathy that she intends to put to practice in her own life. She is looking forward to living in LA and studying what she loves when she joins the Bruins of UCLA and plans to major in human biology. Samuel Aaron Kaplan. Coming to the Meadows in 9th grade, Sam's favorite memory from upper school was the trip to Italy during his junior year. Sam is most proud of being inducted into the Cum Laude Society and being recruited to play baseball at Cornell. Sam is an AP scholar, has earned numerous academic and athletic awards, and he credits his parents for providing him with all of the tools necessary in order to succeed. And as he heads off to college, Sam takes with him these words of inspiration from baseball great Joe DiMaggio. Quote, "If you keep thinking about what you want to do, or what you hope will happen, you don't do it, and it won't happen." Sam is looking forward to gaining valuable life lessons and to making it happen as he furthers his academic and athletic endeavors at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, where he plans to study economics and mathematics with the goal of eventually becoming an investment banker and venture capitalist. Shin also joined us in the 9th grade and was named Student of the Year her very first year here. Taking more than the recommended number of AP courses each year, Shin cites survival as her most significant academic achievement. She is a National Merit Scholarship winner, a member of the Cum Laude Society, and has earned an academic award in every subject area over 4 years. Shin is also a talented musician. She was a Music Teachers National Association state winner in 2016-17 for flute and achieved Nevada All-State Orchestra in 2018. However, her most memorable extracurricular moment was throwing out someone stealing second as the catcher of the Meadows softball team. As she stands here today, Shin would like to thank her parents. She says, quote, "Without your love, guidance, and endless support, I would be nowhere near the person that I am today. You have taught me so much of what I know and what values should be upheld. Your love goes a long way." Shin can't wait to step outside her comfort zone when she heads to Dartmouth College to study anthropology and the social sciences. Noah Edward Klein. He's been practicing that. Noah began his career as a Mustang in beginning school and is another of our super lifers. An athlete from an early age, Noah's favorite memory of lower school was when he kicked his first home run playing kickball, and in middle school when his basketball team won the championship 3 years straight. During his senior year, Noah was voted both homecoming king and prom king by his peers, and considers his most significant academic achievement finally getting his first A in Mr. Kemper's AP government class. His most significant extracurricular achievement was as a senior captain and point guard of the varsity basketball team, helping to lead his team all the way to the state championship. Noah credits his mother, Sherry, with having the most profound impact on him because of all the help she has given him over the years and for pushing him to become the man he is today. Noah is looking forward to meeting new people and making memories that will last a lifetime as he joins the Wolfpack at the University of Nevada, Reno, where he plans to major in mechanical engineering. Danny Floor Mason. Danny started at the Meadows as a freshman, and her favorite memory of high school was at the senior sunrise when Alan Friedman serenaded the class with his harmonica rendition of Piano Man by Billy Joel. Her most significant academic accomplishment was being able to maintain a high GPA and difficult course load while balancing a busy athletic schedule. Danny's most significant extracurricular achievement was winning the volleyball state championship and being named 2A Player of the Year for 2 years in a row. Her most valuable service experience was participating in Girl Scouts for 7 years, culminating in her Gold Award project and a service trip to the Guatemalan cloud forest. Her parents, Sarah and Bill Mason, have had the greatest impact on her so far, as they have taught her to be strong, independent, and considerate. And she says that the best advice she has ever received was from Joseph Epstein when he told her, "Don't be a sissy." As well as being less than a mile away from the beach, Danny is most looking forward to taking her volleyball and academic career to the next level in college at the University of California, San Diego in La Jolla, where she plans to major in cognitive and behavioral neuroscience. Mohammad Mehdi. Sam's diploma will be presented to him by his father and upper school math teacher, Mohammad Mehdi. Sam started at the Meadows in the 3rd grade and remembers what he calls being, quote, decent-ish at a sport, kickball, in lower school. His favorite upper school memory was Richard Zoe being forced to go to prom in 11th grade because he was voted prom prince. Sam's most significant academic accomplishment was actually getting nothing wrong on a physics test and a chemistry test, which he says has never happened on any other test ever. His most significant extracurricular was as varsity quiz captain, as he led the team this year to be 6-1 in the regular season and advanced to the semifinals. And he will always remember sharing his passion for and knowledge of Latin and the classics with 4th graders from other schools in the Valley every Friday after school. Sam looks forward to all of the opportunities available to him in college as he joins the Trojans of the University of Southern California in Los Angeles, where he will major in computer science and computer engineering. Nicholas Peter Viscondas. Nicholas came to the Meadows in the 10th grade and predicted back in April when he wrote this that his best memory would be graduating. His greatest academic achievement was studying for 3 days for a stats test, but still thinking that he had failed. He said he stressed like crazy, but ended up getting an A. Outside of school, he has enjoyed playing squash and volunteering on the weekends at Catholic charities. Nicholas credits his mom with having the greatest impact on his life by giving him the motivation to continue forwards even when the future seemed bleak. She also made it very clear to him that his own happiness needed to come first and that he shouldn't rely on other people's opinions. Nicholas will be attending TCU in Fort Worth, Texas, and plans to major in business. Malini Narula. Malini began at the Meadows School in kindergarten and is one of our lifers. Malini's best memory in lower school was learning about the Greek myths in 4th grade. In middle school, her first pep band game, and in upper school, it was having math classes with Mr. Mehdi all 4 years. A National Merit finalist, among many other awards and achievements, Malini lists as her most significant academic accomplishment, passing Mr. Mehdi's pre-calc BC class. The person who has had the greatest impact on Malini during her time at the Meadows is Mr. Mehdi, and she will always cherish his daily conversations with her about college admissions. Not surprisingly, the best advice Malini has ever received has also been from Mr. Mehdi, who told her the secret to finding the best fruit and baking the world's famous cookies. Malini is most looking forward to meeting new people, because she can't take you with her, Mr. Mehdi, when she joins the Blue Devils of Duke University and hopes to major in linguistics, but eventually join the pre-med track to become a doctor like her parents. Ahmed, come on. Ahmed is also a lifer who started at the Meadows School in kindergarten. One of the most multi-instrumental and talented music students to have gone through the Meadows, Ahmed's best lower school memory is learning to play the xylophone, specifically in Mr. Kriski's music class. Ahmed's most significant academic accomplishment was passing Mr. Hanley's cultural anthropology class this year. Although it was a lot of work, he says, it was his favorite class that he has ever taken. Ahmed's most significant extracurricular achievement was forming a band called Fugue, in which he has played a few shows around the city and with whom he has recorded an EP and an album. Being in the band has helped him harness his songwriting ability and learn to be a key member of a creative team. Ahmed credits his older brother Rafay, who graduated in 2014 from the Meadows, with being a huge role model to him, who has helped him begin to understand the importance of standing by his values while still hearing what people have to say and being open to change. In college, Ahmed is looking forward to meeting more musicians and taking advantage of the opportunities found in the city of Chicago, as well as joining the university radio station when he attends Loyola University Chicago, where he will pursue his dream of being a musician. Grace Elizabeth Nemec. Grace joined the middle school in 7th grade, and although Mr. Siegel won't like this, her fondest memories involve walking to Starbucks every day after school with her friends. Grace believes her most significant academic accomplishment was the time when Mr. Kemper read her thesis as the example when she was sure it was going to be Retives. And outside of the classroom, winning 4 tennis state titles is Grace's most valued extracurricular achievement. She will always remember the advice of J.L., her tennis coach, when he told her, "Whatever you decide to do in your life, do it at 100%. You don't know what the future will bring you. Life is too short to carry regrets." Grace also enjoyed helping out with maths classes and hearing kids call her Adult Grace. Grace is looking forward to actually becoming that adult and meeting new people at Tufts University in Medford, Massachusetts, where she will major in biology on a pre-med track. Taylor Renee Parker. Taylor started at Meadows School in kindergarten, and then she left for 6th and 7th grade, and then returned in 8th grade. Every single lower school program that Taylor ever performed in is her best memory from lower school. Halloween in 8th grade is her best memory from middle school because she got to dress up as things 1 through 6 with all of her friends. And Taylor's favorite memory of upper school is going to the state basketball tournament with her cheer team during her freshman and senior years. Outside of school, earning her Gold Award this year has been her most significant accomplishment after beginning her project in the 9th grade. She helped bring a mindfulness game called Resilient Kids Boot Camp into the day-to-day curriculum of a Title I school called Rainbow Dreams Academy. Taylor's dad has made the greatest impact on her due to his experiences and wisdom that he has shared with her, which have pushed her to work harder and be the best version of herself. He also taught her that nothing good in life comes without hard work. Taylor is looking forward to finding herself and learning about the world outside of the Meadows when she attends the University of Southern California. Harry Grace Pascal. Harry is our 3rd and final lifer of the class of 2019. She will never forget the 2nd grade bake sale where her booth was called Perry's Chocolatier and she sold horse-shaped cookies. An avid equestrian, Perry is proud of winning Junior Hunter Champion at the Blenheim Summer Classic on her new horse freestyle. She has also shared her love of horses with others while working at Spirit Therapies with individuals from the Blind Center, teaching them how to ride and care for the horses. Perry is inspired by her mother's commitment and willingness to help those in need. She says that her mother has taught her to be self-aware, empathetic, and determined. From her father, she has learned to follow her dreams, and through his example, she has seen that true success comes from being passionate. At college, Perry is most looking forward to meeting new people, going to football games, and traveling internationally through the Marshall Global Leadership Program. She is the proud recipient of the Presidential Award and Scholarship and will be a member of the Trojan Scholar Society at the University of Southern California, where she will major in business administration with a concentration in entrepreneurship and a double minor in cinematic arts and digital innovation. Alexandra Mari Peterson. Alexandra's diploma is being presented to her by arguably the most important man on campus. No offense, Mr. Gregerson. Her father and TMS Director of Facilities, Brett Peterson. Alexandra started at the Meadows School in preschool and is a super lifer. Alexandra's favorite memories all involve sports, food, and special people. In lower school, it was playing kickball and eating ice cream at lunch. In middle school, it was playing volleyball at lunch with her friends and getting to school really early every day to hang out with Mrs. Hilson. And in high school, it was being able to see her dad every day. Alexandra's most meaningful achievement outside of school was earning her Girl Scout Gold Award. She remodeled a courtyard garden area at West Care Women's and Children's Shelter so they could have an area for serenity, where they can also grow their own plants to aid in their healing. According to Alexandra, her parents have been the most influential to her because they made sure that she always knew she could be whoever and whatever she wanted, and that she could accomplish anything if she set her mind to it. Alexandra is most looking forward to exploring and getting to know a whole new city, community of people, and academic environment at Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, Texas, where she plans to major in either psychology or political science on a pre-law track. Tegan Nicole Clutie. Tegan is another one of our illustrious super lifers. As she graduates today, she says she will always remember the fun games that she played during recess in lower school, going to the pep band games with her friends, and the recent grad night trip. As a competitive gymnast all throughout high school, Tegan was still able to achieve high honor roll all 4 years. And the service experience that stands out the most for Tegan is when she volunteered at Salvation Army for National Honor Society. Tegan's family has made the greatest impact on her because they have supported her through the adversity she has faced throughout her life. And the best advice she has received has come from her mom, and it is to stay positive no matter what she faces. Tegan is most looking forward to further exploring her interest in sports medicine when she goes off to study human physiology at the University of Oregon in Eugene. Aretha Ramalingam. Aretha began attending the Meadows School in the 9th grade, and her best upper school memory is the Pennsylvania trip during her junior year, and particularly going to an Amish restaurant. Her most worthwhile and out of her comfort zone experiences were deciding to take Mr. Gregerson's Advanced Topics Contemporary Poetics class and joining the dance team. Her service experiences as a member of Key Club stand out the most. She's incredibly grateful for the people she has met organizing and volunteering at different service projects across the Las Vegas Valley. And Aretha is thankful to her family because of their undying support of her. She will always carry with her the advice of her mother, who says, quote, "Look for the good in others and be inspired." Aretha is looking forward to meeting new people and being inspired. She's also looking forward to having new experiences when she attends the University of Rochester. Tanner Kenneth Rubley. Tanner started at the Meadows School in 9th grade, and his favorite memory of his time in upper school was running and splashing on the beach in Scotland with his best friends and sister during the 2017 theater trip to Scotland. Speaking of his sister Amanda, Tanner also credits her as having the greatest impact on him because she taught him to be wild, adventurous, and kind. Tanner will always cherish his experiences and the accolades earned while on the wrestling and cross-country teams, and academically, Tanner is proud that he became fluent in French during his junior year. As he heads off to college, he will take with him the lesson taught to him by his mom and dad to enjoy all that life has to offer, no matter what, to push through the tough times and enjoy the joyful times. Tanner is most looking forward to all of the things that he, quote, has no idea what they are yet, in Hanover, New Hampshire, where he will be a student at Dartmouth College. Myra Seguir. Myra began her career at the Meadows in the 3rd grade, and her best lower school memory was the field trip to the Valley of Fire in Miss Bennett's 4th grade class. And in middle school, all the afternoons spent with Sydney in Mrs. Codeweiss's room working on math. During this, her senior year, she will never forget all the fun she had on the bowling team, as well as setting the curve on one of Mr. Hanley's quizzes. Myra is thankful to her parents for shaping her as a person, and the morals and values they instilled in her. And as she is about to embark on her college journey, she takes with her the advice of her mom, who told her to not unnecessarily stress and basically let life take its path, the idea that everything happens for a reason. Myra plans to study psychology at the University of California, Berkeley. Julius Maxwell Santo Pietro. Julius's diploma will be presented to him by his father, upper school physics teacher, Mr. David Santo Pietro. Julius joined the Meadows family in 2nd grade, and his best memory of lower school is Miss Chaddock's creative writing prompts every Friday. And his best memory of middle school is all the time spent in the 8th grade garden during lunch. His most significant academic accomplishment in the upper school was finishing the junior year with passing grades, and outside of the classroom, Julius will always remember his time volunteering with Miracle League. Julius credits Mr. Hanley with teaching him to consider what are notions and what has the ability to move him emotionally. Teaching himself how to draw, Julius hopes to pursue a future in animation or some other job in the movie industry. Being awarded the Presidential Scholarship to the University of Nevada, Reno, Julius is looking forward to heading north out of Las Vegas to join the Wolfpack. Bhavana Amaya Sarko. Toby joined us as a 6th grader in our middle school, and his most significant academic accomplishment is being called the most improved student that year by Mr. Cherry. An incredibly talented pianist, Kobe's best memories at the Meadows are the times he performed with Ahmed and Parker for enrichment days. Those who have made the greatest impact in Kobe's life are his parents, because of their story of traveling to America and making something of themselves is one that always inspires him. And he will never forget this advice from his father, quote, "Don't work for success, work for excellence, and success will follow." Kobe is looking forward to what he calls absolute freedom as he heads to the George Washington University in Washington, D.C., where he plans to major in political science and minor in biology. Justin Yuki Tanaka. Justin began his career at the Meadows School in 9th grade, and his favorite memory of the upper school was the Italy trip during his junior year. A National Merit finalist and a member of the Cum Laude Society, Justin considers reading the entirety of Moby Dick to be his most significant academic accomplishment, and his most significant extracurricular was being part of the revival of the mock trial team. His favorite service experience was volunteering with Miracle League throughout high school, and as a key member of the Meadows varsity baseball team, Justin credits his coach, Andy Concepcion, for giving him the best advice with, quote, "Bring the energy today." Justin considers his parents as having the greatest impact on him so far in his life for inspiring him with their love, sacrifice, and hard work. In college, he's looking forward to meeting new friends, exploring the world, and learning about life at Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service in Washington, D.C., where he will work towards one day becoming a diplomat working for the U.S. Foreign Service. Rateeb Rashad Tanvir. Rateeb also started at the Meadows School in 9th grade and lists the trips, exclamation point, as his best memories of high school. Rooming in DC and New York, eating at the food trucks on the boardwalk in Philly, listening to music and eating junk food, Rateeb says it was all a blast. National Merit finalist and recipient of multiple academic awards in various subjects each year of high school, Rateeb's most significant academic accomplishment was being named Student of the Year during his junior year. Outside of the academic realm, Rateeb believes that he is the best dancer he knows. Rateeb's favorite music artists have made the greatest impact on him. Everyone knows what it's like to tune out and escape for a bit, and for Rateeb, that will always be priceless. When he leaves for college, Rateeb looks forward to spending his free time turning his hobbies and interests into an identity for himself. Rateeb's goal is to be a physician, and we wish him all the best as he begins that journey at the University of California, Los Angeles in the fall. Christopher Shigeo Tsuchiyama. Christopher is another of the class of 2019 super lifers. Playing foursquare with his friends Justin, Yvonne, Anson, and Colton during PE and lunch were his favorite moments during lower school. In middle school, after completing their presentations in Miss Tilley's class, Christopher laughingly remembers having a bit of free time and, as, quote, responsible students, Nick and I watched Anson max out his mom's credit card buying virtual collectible items in a video game. He also mentions Astro Camp as a more acceptable memory. In upper school, his fondest memory is winning the cross-country regionals freshman year and going to Reno for state. Unfortunately, the team stayed up late playing video games and then got destroyed by the North, but still he says it was a fun experience. Christopher is an AP scholar, scoring a 4 or 5 out of 5 on all of his AP exams, including US history, physics, chemistry, and European history. Christopher's mother has had the greatest impact on him because she leads by example and has sacrificed so much to make his and his sister's lives so great. Getting the opportunity to learn and explore more of his interests and get involved in student life on campus is what Christopher is most looking forward to when he joins the Trojans of the University of Southern California to major in accounting and eventually pursue an MBA. Ishan Verma. Ishan joined us as a 9th grader and lists as his most significant academic accomplishment, making it through AP Physics without his brain exploding. Ishan's most significant extracurricular achievement is when he helped to create a system for a not-for-profit called Spread the Word that allows them to sell books on Amazon for another source of funding. He will also fondly remember all the smiles on the faces of World War II veterans after putting on a show for them as part of a service project. The best advice Ishan has received was from Coach Andy, who told him to, quote, hear the message, not the bark. Ishan also wants to acknowledge his parents for instilling values in him that he will carry throughout his life. Taking new classes that have absolutely nothing to do with his major, to continue exploring and blowing his mind, is what Ishan is most looking forward to at the University of Southern California, and on his form in Cardinal and Gold, he put, go Trojans. where he plans to pursue a business degree with the ultimate goal to own a professional sports team one day. Jay Yeager. Another of our super lifers, Jay is currently an AP Scholar with distinction and will graduate as a National AP Scholar. Jay will never forget crying after PE in lower school when his team lost extremely competitive kickball games. During middle school, he remembers Alan Friedman coming over for his birthday one year and leaving him, quote, a nice big present. In the upper school, his favorite memory is winning both the team and individual bowling state championships. Jay is proud that he was able to help students in middle school learn to enjoy math through his after-school tutoring with Math Club. And Jay feels that his most significant extracurricular achievement is the fact that he worked over 2,000 paid hours during his time in high school, all the while remaining on the high honor roll. Claiming to not really have any heroes or role models, Jay says that he has influenced himself the most and has made the greatest impact on his own life. But he does credit Mr. Schaefer for teaching him to calm down, eat some snacks, and not take life too seriously. Jay is looking forward to more free time so he can find some actual hobbies and figure out what he wants to do with his life. He plans to major in computer science at Drexel University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Rachel Elise Zimmerman. Rachel is the last of the class of 2019 Super Lifers, and maybe because of her 13 years here, her fondest memories all seem to involve getting off the Meadows campus, including visiting the NSPCA during 2nd grade, the trip to Knott's Berry Farm during 8th grade, the sophomore trip to Washington, D.C., and the college trip during her junior year. Rachel's most significant academic achievement is just making it through all these years, and outside of the classroom, winning state in volleyball 2 years in a row. Understanding the importance of helping others, the service experience that has had the most profound impact on Rachel during her time in high school was when she traveled to Ghana last summer. She will also never forget a woman she met there who ran an orphanage who taught her to always love others as much as she can and to do as much good as she can. And Rachel says, although she knows it's going to sound cheesy, she wants to thank her parents, particularly her father, for being her greatest support system and biggest cheerleader. She credits him for shaping her into the person she is today and owes everything to him. Rachel aspires to one day work in the White House or as a member of Congress, and she will begin on that journey by majoring in political science at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Tall Zib. Coming to the Meadows in 8th grade, Tall's most significant academic accomplishment was being on the high honor roll all 4 years in high school. She was also a member of the National Honor Society, the National Art Honor Society, and National Spanish Honor Society. Tall most enjoyed volunteering for the after-school art math program with Ms. Martin, teaching art techniques to lower school students. Tall's mom has been the most influential to her because she's always made her believe that she can achieve anything she sets her mind to. And the best advice Tall has ever received was from her dad when he told her, quote, "Don't worry, or worry knowing that it is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum," end quote. Tall's favorite memory from high school was when Mr. Schaefer told her that only the best people go to Purdue. Not surprisingly then, Tall is off to join the Boilermakers of Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana, where she will major in aerospace engineering with the hope of pursuing a career as a rocket scientist.
Graduates, please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, family, friends, faculty members, and members of the Board of Trustees, these graduates have satisfied all the requirements for graduation from the Meadows School. Graduates, you may now move your tassels from your right to the left. It is therefore my privilege to present to you the Meadows School Class of 2019. the ceremony is at an end. Before I welcome Reverend Leach once more to the podium for our benediction, I would like to ask that you please keep your seats and allow the faculty and students to recess out of the gymnasium. And also, please try to keep the area just beyond the doors out here clear as you go out. And it's a natural bottleneck right there. So please join us in the Winsong Gymnasium for refreshments and a reception afterwards, and just proceed out there to meet your graduate. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Reverend Joanne Leach.
Well, I had no idea what I was getting in for when I accepted this honor to pray and to get to know all of you so much better. I'm so impressed. Let us pray. Spirit of life, creator, source of boundless compassion, we thank you for this day and its many blessings, and for the wisdom to recognize our gifts and serve you with gratitude. Bless these graduates as they pursue their dreams in unexpected ways. Provide them with the courage to move beyond fear and doubt, to find strength in their capacity to care for others, and to respect the diversity of humankind. Help them to be mindful that true success is born of meaningful relationships and a community that embraces peace and justice. Through your gracious Spirit, we ask that you bless them with patience as they explore new horizons. Bless them with humility in the face of success and abundance. Bless them with compassion for the poor, the sick, and the suffering. Bless them with generosity in the midst of the challenges to come. Bless them with gratitude for friends, mentors, and families who have supported them through this journey. May their integrity be a gift to the world. And bless us all, families, friends, faculty, mentors, and supporters, as we share in the joy of their accomplishments, and may the Spirit of God be with you always. Amen.
Where'd she go? Thanks for coming. I'm so glad you